Wes Craven. This video compresses information gathered from Wikipedia in video format. Studies prove that reading while listening improves comprehension, increases speed as well as expands vocabulary and enhances fluency. Video sections. Abstract. Early life. Career. Other work. Personal life. Death and legacy. Filmography. Awards and nominations. External links. Give your feedback on the comments section. Support the channel by subscribing and liking the video. Thanks. Abstract. Wesley Earl Wes Craven was an American filmmaker, actor, and novelist. He was known for his pioneering work in the horror genre, particularly slasher films, where he mixed horror cliches with humor and satire. His impact on the genre was considered prolific and highly influential, due to the success and cultural impact of his works. Craven has been called a master of horror. He is best known for creating the A Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, 19,842,010, featuring the characters Freddy Krueger and Nancy Thompson, and the Scream franchise, 19,962,011, featuring Ghostface and Sidney Prescott. His other notable films include The Last House on the Left, 1972, The Hills Have Eyes, 1977, Swamp Thing, 1982, The Serpent and the Rainbow, 1988, Shocker, 1989, The People Under the Stairs, 1991, Vampire in Brooklyn, 1995, Music of the Heart, 1999, and Red Eye, 2005. Craven's final film was Scream 4, 2011. Early life. Craven was born in Cleveland, Ohio, the son of Caroline and Paul Eugene Craven. He was raised in a strict Baptist family. Craven earned an undergraduate degree in English and psychology from Wheaton College in Illinois, and a master's degree in philosophy and writing from Johns Hopkins University. Craven briefly taught English at Westminster College and was a humanities professor at Clarkson College of Technology, later named Clarkson University, in Potsdam, New York. He additionally taught at Madrid Waddington High School in Madrid, New York. During this time, he purchased a used 16mm film camera and began making short movies. When his friend Steve Chapin informed him of a messenger position at a New York City film production co., where his brother, future folk rock star Harry Chapin worked, Craven moved into the building where his friend Steve Chapin lived at 136 Hicks Street in Brooklyn Heights. His first creative job in the film industry was as a sound editor. Recalling his early training, Craven said in 1994, "Harry was a fantastic film editor and producer of industrials. He taught me the Chapin method. Nuts and bolts. Nuts and bolts. Get rid of the shit." Craven afterward became the firm's assistant manager, and broke into film editing with You've Got to Walk It Like You Talk It or You'll Lose That Beat. 1971. Career. Craven left the academic world for the more lucrative role of pornographic film director. In the documentary Inside Deep Throat, Craven says on camera he made many hardcore X-rated films under pseudonyms while his role in Deep Throat is undisclosed. Most of his early known work involved writing, film editing, or both. Craven's first feature film as director was The Last House on the Left, which was released in 1972. Craven expected the film to be shown at only a few theaters, which according to him, gave me a freedom to be outrageous, and to go into areas that normally I wouldn't have gone into, and not worry about my family hearing about it, or being crushed. Ultimately the movie was screened much more widely than he assumed, leaving him ostracized due to the content of the film this year. After the negative experience of Last House, Craven attempted to move out of the horror genre, and began writing non-horror films with his partner Sean S. Cunningham, none of which attracted any financial backing. Finally, based on advice from a friend about the ease of filming in the Nevada deserts, Craven began to write a new horror film based on that locale. The resulting film, The Hills Have Eyes, cemented Craven as a horror film director, with Craven noting, "It soon became clear that I wasn't going to do anything else unless it was scary." Craven frequently collaborated with Sean S. Cunningham in Craven's debut feature, The Last House on the Left. Cunningham served as producer. They pooled all of their resources and came up with $90,000. Later, in Craven's best-known film, A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, Cunningham directed one of the chase scenes. Although he was not credited, their characters, Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees, appeared together in the slasher film Freddy vs. Jason, 2003, with Cunningham acting as producer, while screenwriter Victor Miller is credited as character creator. Later, in The Last House on the Left remake, 2009, Cunningham and Craven share production credits. Craven had a hand in launching actor Johnny Depp's career by casting him in A Nightmare on Elm Street, Depp's first major film role. Although known for directing horror thriller films, he had worked on 2 films which are outside this genre: Music of the Heart, 1999, and as one of the 22 directors responsible for Paris, Je Time, 2006. Craven created Coming of Rage, a 5-issue comic book series, with 30 Days of Night writer Steve Niles. The series was released in digital form in 2014 by Liquid Comics, with a print edition scheduled for an October 2015 debut. Craven's works tend to share a common exploration of the nature of reality. A Nightmare on Elm Street, for example, dealt with the consequences of dreams in real life. New Nightmare has actress Heather Langenkamp play herself as she is haunted by the villain of the film in which she once starred. At one point in the film, the audience sees on Wes Craven's word processor a script he has written, which includes the conversation he just had with Heather as if the script were being written as the action unfolds. The Serpent and the Rainbow portrays a man who cannot distinguish between nightmarish visions and reality. In Scream, the characters frequently reference horror films similar to their situations, and at one point, Billy Loomis tells his girlfriend that life is just a big movie. This concept was emphasized in the sequels, as copycat stalkers reenact the events of a new film about the Woodsboro killings. Woodsboro being the fictional town where Scream is set. Occurring in Scream included a scene mentioning an urban legend about Richard Gere and a sex act involving a hamster. Craven stated in interviews that he received calls from agents telling him that if he left that scene in, he would never work again. The last film that he directed before his death was Scream 4. Other work. Craven designed the Halloween 2008 logo for Google and was the second celebrity personality to take over the YouTube homepage on Halloween. Craven had a letter published in the July 19, 1968 edition of Life, praising that periodical's coverage of contemporary rock music, in particular Frank Zappa's personal life. Craven's first marriage, to Bonnie Broker, produced 2 children, Jonathan Craven, born 1965, and Jessica Craven, born 1968. Jonathan is a writer and director. Jessica was a singer-songwriter in the group the Chapin Sisters. The marriage ended in 1970. In 1982, Craven married a woman who became known professionally as actress Mimi Craven. The two later divorced, with Wes Craven stating in interviews that the marriage dissolved after he discovered it was no longer anything but a charme. In 2004, Craven married Ella Bunker. She frequently worked as a producer on Craven's films. Craven was a birder. In 2010, he joined Audubon California's board of directors. His favorite films included Night of the Living Dead, 1968, The Virgin Spring, 1960, and Red River, 1948. Craven was an atheist. Death and legacy. Craven died of a brain tumor at his home in Los Angeles on August 30, 2015, 4 weeks after his 76th birthday. Many actors paid tribute to him, including David Arquette, Johnny Depp, Adrian Barbeau, Angela Bassett, Courtney Cox, Scott Foley, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Kadeem Hardson, Jamie Kennedy, Shane Dawson, Heather Langenkamp, Rose McGowan, Cillian Murphy, Mitch Pileggi, Christy Swanson and Amanda Wyss. The 10th episode of the horror series Scream was dedicated in his memory. Depp stated, "Wes Craven was the guy who gave me my start. From my perspective, for almost no reason in particular. I read scenes with his daughter when I auditioned for the part. At the time, I was a musician. I wasn't really acting. It was not anything very near to my brain or my heart. Which is pretty much how it remains to this day. But Wes Craven was brave enough to give me the gig based on his daughter's opinion. I guess she had read with a bunch of actors. And after the casting sessions, she said, 'No, that's the guy. I always think of her for putting me in this mess. And certainly Wes Craven for being very brave to give me this gig. But he was a good man, so rest in peace. Old Wes.' Robert Englund, one of Craven's most frequent acting collaborators, said Craven was a brilliant, kind, gentle and very funny man. Neve Campbell, who starred in the Scream franchise, said, "We lost a great deal of magic yesterday. I'm devastated to hear of Wes passing. My life wouldn't be what it is without Hi Monsieur. I will be forever grateful for his brilliant direction, his wicked sense of humor, and his consummate kindness and friendship. He has entertained us all for decades and inspired so many to follow in his path. I loved Wes dearly and will miss him always. Thank you, Wes." Quote. Filmography. Producer only, executive producer only. Awards and nominations. Throughout his career, Craven was nominated for and won numerous awards, including multiple Saturn Awards and several film festival honors. In 1977, Craven won the Critics' Award at the Sitges Film Festival for his horror film The Hills Have Eyes. In 1997, the Gradmer Film Festival granted him the grand prize for the slasher film Scream Monsieur. In 2012, the New York City Horror Film Festival awarded Craven the Lifetime Achievement Award.